Welcome back to aquaSplainer. Here on the channel, what we normally do is build new aquascapes, and we also do some tutorials on how to maintain them. Today, our project is going to be a little bit different. What I want to do is add a powerhead, also called a wave maker, to the 230 litre tank behind me. Now, why do I need a wave maker? 3 reasons. First of all, several of the fish species that I have in this tank like to have a little bit of current. The filter that I've got doesn't really move the water very quickly through. So adding a wave maker will give fish like my harlequin rasboras, my albino black widow tetras, and my swordtails something to swim against. Something more like the natural environment these fish live in. Usually they live in streams and rivers and so on. Secondly, that filter, by moving the water so slowly, doesn't really push enough waste towards the filter input. I'm hoping that having a wave maker moving the water in one direction from this side of the tank to the other will help the filtration process a little bit by moving some of the waste where it needs to go. Thirdly, many of the plants that I have in my tank are epiphytes or rhizome plants. They're attached to the rocks and the wood. They don't have root systems that go into the soil and the substrate. They exist by absorbing nutrients from the water, and I think that having a little bit of water movement in my tank will help them grow and be a little bit more healthy. So I've been shopping around for various solutions online, checking out different powerheads and their specs. But then some exciting news happened here at aquasplainer. We've partnered with an aquarium goods company called Hygger. They sent us a list of possible gear that they could send us to feature here on the channel, and one of them was a wave maker. So, what we're going to add to the tank is the Hygger Lite aquarium wave maker, the 6-watt version. My plan is to install the wave maker at about that level at this end of the tank. Hopefully then it will push water in that direction towards the filter intake. I'm not going to put it too high, too close to the surface, but it will be higher up so that the fish have something to swim against around about this level in the tank. The protective cover is there to guard against smaller fish and crustaceans from getting sucked into the mechanism. You slot the powerhead into the protective cover and then move it into your favored position. I'm going for about 3 inches deep from the surface and 3 inches in from the glass front. When you've got your position, use the magnetic holder to secure the wave maker. The magnet is good for glass up to about 8 millimeters thick. You can drag the magnet to adjust its location. Rubber on both units protects the glass from scratching. One of the great things about this powerhead is that the cord is a decent length. Being careful not to get the connector wet, I'm threading it through the access space at the back corner of the tank. Then I'm running it along behind the aquarium. There's a suction cup there in case you want to keep it secure in place, nice and tidy. You then connect the power head to the controller unit. It takes a second to screw the little cover across the join, which stops water getting in there. Finally, you attach the power cable and plug to the controller unit with its adapter. Now it's time for the moment of truth. we've got the wavemaker plugged in, let's check out some of the settings. When you first switch it on, it'll be in constant mode with a flow rate of 10. This means it's pumping water around the aquarium at a rate around 3,000 liters per hour. But there are lots of ways you can adjust it. First of all, you can reduce or increase the flow rate using the plus and minus buttons to find a level that suits you. This is constant mode at a power of 10. This is constant mode at a power of 1. Pressing the mode button twice switches the wavemaker into pulse mode. It'll jet the water in an on-off pattern, as you can see. This time, using the plus and minus buttons adjusts the frequency of the on and off pulses. This is pulse mode at 5, and this is pulse mode at 1. 2 more taps of the mode button puts the powerhead into sine wave mode. This is meant to be an undulating wave pattern. Up and down, and up and down, and up and down. This is sine mode at a frequency of 5. This is sine mode at a frequency of 1. Finally, another 2 taps puts us into random wave mode. As before, you can adjust the frequency of the bursts, which this time last for different lengths of time randomly. Short burst, long burst, short burst, and so on. This is random mode at a frequency of 5, and this is random mode at a frequency of 1. That was all pretty geeky, but I did want to show you all the options there are. Personally, I don't think I can tell much difference between the sine mode and the random mode. However, when I first received this wavemaker, I did think that all I would be using it for would be the constant mode, and then maybe at a level of 3 or 4. I find the pulse mode intriguing, and I think it excites the fish, so I'm probably going to use it maybe at a level of 6 or 7, maybe 8, to keep things lively and invigorated in the tank. Another cool thing you can do with the controller is hold down the mode button for a few seconds. This switches the wavemaker off for 9 minutes, giving you time to feed the fish. In that time, the wavemaker's off, so the fish don't get blasted around at the surface and can easily get to the food. I think it's a great little idea. It even shows you on the display how much time is left. What I really like is when it turns back on again and the fish get all racy and jump in and out of the current just having had their food. It's pretty neat, pretty exciting. It's a good display. As we wrap things up, I'd like to send a big thank you to the folks at Hygger for sending in this little wavemaker. Details of this product, as well as links to where you can purchase it, can be found in the description with this video. What did I like about the wavemaker? Well, first of all, there's its size. It's only about 2.5 inches across, and it only stands about 1.5 inches proud of the side of the tank. It really is tiny, and it's very quiet. Secondly, I love the fact that it's adjustable. Now, one of the reasons I didn't buy a powerhead in the past is because most models just have one flow. Now, I'm probably not going to use all 40 different settings and levels that this one offers, but it gives me peace of mind to know that I can turn it down, lessen the load on my fish swimming in the tank by just adjusting it. Now, I mentioned at the start of the video that I was hoping that the wavemaker would help with water circulation in the tank, in particular, moving waste back towards the filter intake in that corner there. Now, this little area of the tank used to be a real problem spot. Food, fish waste, dead leaves from the many plants in this tank used to collect here and around the corner. There wasn't enough flow to push them where they needed to go. Since installing the wavemaker, the area's cleared up quite significantly. There's hardly anything here, and those little threads that you can see just here Those are actually the roots from this Java fern, so they're not waste at all. So it's been pretty effective on that front. And then there's the bigger picture. Whenever I set out to make an aquascape, I want to create something that's as natural as possible for the fish. Although a wave maker creates an artificial current, for the fish in the tank, current is something they're naturally used to. So what I'm doing with this wave maker is bringing some natural realism to the tank. What does that mean in a practical sense? Well, for example, the plants are now undulating in the current, which is something they weren't doing before. And the fish are exhibiting behaviors that I hadn't seen either. Other than diving into the current and playing in it, my harlequin rasboras are also swimming together as a school much more. I think their behavior is more closely mirroring what they would do in their natural habitat. My swordtails, I'm a little surprised, have been kind of more reticent about the current. However, they have gone out and played in it, and they do swim around the tank a lot more and explore more areas than they were previously. At first, my albino black widow tetras took the arrival of the wave maker in their stride. They just prowled around a little, looking suspicious. After a while, they started diving into the current, and now, a few days after installation, they've become really active in the tank, and they've been displaying signs of mating behavior. We're also seeing a little bit more of some of the fish that regularly remain hidden. For instance, the plecs have come out and have been exploring the front of the tank a lot more than they used to. That could just be because of the change of circumstances, but I'm kind of hoping that they also are enjoying the current a little bit more. So the bottom line is that I'm really happy with the way things have turned out. I hope by watching this video, it's given you some ideas and inspiration as well for your own tank. All I want to say as we sign off is thank you for watching, and bye-bye.